What's going on, everyone? I am just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about 5 things that Canada doesn't get enough credit for. So, I got to admit it, like here in the United States, we don't know much about Canada, and it's not because we don't like you. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of Americans have a very positive opinion of Canada. It's just that we don't bother to learn anything that's not about the United States. I think that's the sad truth. So today, I want to check out this video sharing 5 things that Canada should really get more credit for that us Americans have no idea about. So let's take a look.
Okay, the first one is Bulk Barn. I feel that even Canadians
Bulk barn? What is that? Yeah, I mean, you guys definitely don't get enough credit for that because I have no idea what that means. Bulk barn. Okay. Why should this be more recognized?
don't talk about Bulk Barn enough. I remember moving here and thinking that it was the most glorious thing I had ever seen in my life. Okay, the second one is just Canadians.
What? Wait, what? What? You can't just say that this is the most awesome thing, that we all love it, and then move on. Okay, I guess I gotta look this up. Okay, we're gonna use Google. Bulk barn. Okay, this is what shows up. Bulkbarn.ca. So it's a Canadian website. This must be correct. Okay, there we go. Sustainable Sundays. What is this? Great deals. This is you buy something at Bulk Barn because there are deals. Products. Here we go. What are the? Okay, products. Baking ingredients, bean and soup mixes, cleaning and personal care, cake decorating, candy making, candy, cereal, chocolate. Oh, I like this. It's got everything. Is this a grocery store? Coffee and tea, cookies, dried fruit. Okay, is there an about section? I feel like everyone who goes to the Bulk Barn website is probably a customer who already knows. So it's amazing how you're kind of expected to know things that are probably obvious, especially for Canadians, but so the website front page doesn't say, "Hey, idiot American guy, this is what we are." Is there an about section? No. Seniors and students every Wednesday. I might have to use AI. Do I have to use AI? I think I have to. What is Bulk Barn in Canada? Okay, it's come to this. I'm officially this much in the future that every little thing has to be AI generated. Okay, but it works. It says Bulk Barn is a Canadian specialty grocery store chain. It is a grocery store. It's a specialty. What's special about it? Where you buy food from big bins in whatever amount you want instead of prepackaged items? What? I'm trying to imagine this. That seems chaotic? I don't know if that's. What do you mean, big bins? You take whatever amount you want instead of prepackaged. But on the website, they sold everything. What do you mean they're just in big bins? Big bins of chocolate? And then what? You go shove it in a giant grocery bag? Is that how it works? In a bulk barn store, you see long rows of clear bins and containers filled with different foods. At least it's kind of painting a picture for me. You see long rows of clear bins. They're filled with all the different stuff. You grab a plastic bag. I shouldn't have that's not a joke. You really do grab a bag. Scoop the amount you want into your bag. Then you pay by weight. That makes sense. I was like thinking, how they know what you got? You can buy a very small amount or a very large amount. They can carry up to 4,000 items? Huh? Um, I mean, I think this is cool. I can't say I've ever been to anything like this. I guess it allows you a lot of freedom to like they said, especially with the quantity that you want. It's just like I feel like you got to experience this in person to really grasp. You got a bunch of bins. Is this like sanitary? Not. I mean, it must be if people like this. And you go around putting all the nuts and spices and cereal and cake supplies into your big bag, and then you check out and go home and eat your chocolate, I guess. Okay. That is I don't know if that's like you guys definitely don't get credit for that. That's very um inventive, innovative, cuz I don't think we have anything like that here in the US that I'm aware of. That sounds like fun. It's almost like um going to a thrift store or something like and getting to look around in the bins and find cool stuff, and then you put it in your bag. And is it like that? I don't. That's I don't know. That's the literally the only thing I can think of where you like there's long rows of bins. I don't know. Bulk barn. Okay, let's keep going.
Bulk barn enough. I
This is good
remember
stuff.
moving here and thinking that it was the most glorious thing I had ever seen in my life. Okay, the second one is just Canadians. Now, this one is very much spoken of, but I feel like it's more in a stereotypical way.
Canadian. Number two is literally Canadians, like in general. The people of Canada, don't get enough credit for what?
And people don't know how real the stereotype actually is.
Oh,
Canadians are the most kind, apologetic, helpful people ever. And I
this is a funny one because I actually dare say you guys do get enough credit. I mean, maybe when you actually go to Canada and live there or and interact, it's even better than the stereotypes. But I gotta say, I think in the US, you guys get credit for being, she's saying the stereotypes. I mean, isn't that correct? You guys literally have a reputation globally, I think. Certainly in the US for being nice, polite, respectful. You're successful. You're empathetic. Like every good quality a human can have. The only downside or like criticism people would say is like, oh, Canadians can be too nice to a fault, especially in America. Like, if you're too nice, people sometimes view that as weak, like you can be taken advantage of. But I think that's ridiculous, and we could always use more kindness. She says you guys get all the credit you deserve, I think, because you're literally known for that, which is pretty amazing. No other culture around the world, I think, is so known for being good people. So that's pretty cool. She says you deserve more credit. My God.
come from France. We're the opposite of that. So moving here, I was struck with such like a wave of kindness and felt so accepted by Canadians. It just honestly still makes my day 10 years later. The third
Wow, that's cool. And she said she is not even from Canada. She's from like France. So she has like that outside perspective, like not bias. She's not biased. She's not even Canadian. Like, so she's an outsider coming to Canada, like just observing, objectively what it's like. And obviously she thinks it's pretty great. So that's a pretty good, review right there. Pretty good testimonial. Okay. What is number three? Things that Canadians don't get enough credit for?
Thing is cottage culture. Now,
Ha!
cottage culture took me 9.5 years to understand.
That's funny. I actually did a video very recently learning exactly about this because I didn't know Canada had like this cottage culture thing. God, I learned about that like a week ago or something, like very recently. So that's funny. Yeah, us Americans, we have no clue that you guys got these like that it's normal for people to like have cottages and getaways in Canada and or there's a lot in Ontario and because you guys got a bunch of lakes and here in the US that's extraordinarily uncommon to have like a cabin or cottage or you're like rich. You're everyone's favorite person if you got one of those. That's I don't know anybody who has one.
I used to remember thinking, like, why do people just have random houses on lakes so far away from everything? I get
Yeah.
it. I have no further explanation because you need to live cottage culture to get it, but
Oh, well, okay, for one thing, it's the fact that Canadians so commonly have access to these cottages. That's what shocks me, because that'd be very rare here in the US. The idea, like, the concept, like, why do you guys do it? You don't gotta explain that to me. That sounds awesome. That sounds amazing. Like some cool little cottage by a lake. You're jumping in the lake and relaxing in the sun and like it's like sort of like camping. It's a better because you have like a house to live in and you don't got to. There's nothing baffling about that to me. I understand why you would want it. It sounds great.
that's my third. Okay, number four is the Canadian Rockies.
Oh, the Canadian Rockies. I don't. Obviously, there's like part of the Rocky Mountain Range in the United States. I'm not familiar with that at all. Like, I don't live on the western side of the United States, so I don't know if we even have like cool Rocky Mountain stuff, and I certainly don't know if Canada does.
I took a trip to the Canadian Rockies about 4 years ago. I went all the way from Alberta to Vancouver Island, and it
Wow.
was one of the most stunning, like breathtaking trips I've ever taken in my life.
I will. I have seen like some YouTube videos of like beautiful parts of Canada that I didn't know existed, and I will say, sort of what she's saying. I think Canada is seriously underrated as like it's beautiful. Like growing up as an American, I had no idea what Canada looked like. I think most Americans, when we think of Canada, it's like physically think of Canada. It's like nothing really comes to mind except snow. Like snow, ice, like cold. Nothing physically which is a shame because from what I understand and some of the things I've seen, and she's saying like the Rocky Mountains and that there's some like extraordinarily beautiful parts of Canada that get no credit here in the U.S. Like I don't really hear a lot of Americans talking about like, oh, I want to go somewhere beautiful. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where to go. Like Canada is like, you're our neighbor. You're right there. And you don't like necessarily come to mind as like a place to vacation for a lot of Americans, which it seems like a shame.
And people don't decide to travel from Europe or even from Asia to the Canadian Rockies. I feel like they always prioritize the American West Coast, but
Mm.
I feel like it's such a mistake. And like we could argue whether bringing more tourism to those areas is a good thing or not, and like that's a whole other video. But I
Uh, do Maybe you guys don't want us Americans to know about the cool Canadian Rockies or the Jasper Park and whatever. Maybe you don't want us to know. Maybe you're actually happy that it's kind of low key.
still think that people just don't hype it up enough. It blows my mind.
Okay.
This one might be very controversial and it might be a bit of recency bias,
Mm,
but I would say the political state of Canada is actually something that people don't hype up enough.
interesting. Um, Most of us Americans have no idea about Canadian politics. Or I think I think a lot of Americans wouldn't even know who the Prime Minister of Canada is, to be completely honest. And it's not, again, it's nothing against Canada. It's just Americans in general, we just don't know about anything outside of the US, like any country. So it's just kind of weird because Canada, you have such a deep relationship with us. You're geographically so close to us. Your politics are like pretty important with ours, and so it is weird we don't know about this more.
And what I mean by that is in today's world, I mean, it depends where you lean politically, but in today's world where our southern neighbors have a very complex political situation, I come from France. The political situation in France is an absolute nightmare right now.
Right?
Anyways, you could compare it to a lot of different countries, but I find that for the most part, again, this could be very controversial, but in comparison to a lot of the other countries where I've lived, the political state of Canada is quite unproblematic.
Wow. I don't know if that's like controversial to say. Obviously, that entirely depends on your political views. Like you're either really happy Mark Carney is the prime minister, or you're really upset. I think what she's really talking about is just like the political stability of Canada, and from my point of view as an American, the reasonableness, which isn't something that I think a lot of countries probably take that for granted. Like having a reasonable government that, like, I think that's just the best way to put it. Because here in the US, obviously, we have Donald Trump and our government, our administration, our situation right now. That I would call chaos, deception in many cases. Like, um, yeah. So this is actually a good one. Um, I think a lot of Americans should like think about this very deeply. Like, we need to go back to like just being baseline reasonable. Like, no matter who is the president or the prime minister in Canada, it's like we may disagree on the politics, but whatever happened to like just common decency in our behavior and how we go about things? Like, I don't know if that's exactly what she's getting on about, but that's kind of how I relate to it.
I mean, I say that I've only lived here for 10 years, so I've only seen like one party for the most part lead the country. Um, but yeah, I would say it's rather unproblematic.
Yeah, certainly compared to the U.S., unproblematic in the sense that like, yeah, yeah, my God, unproblematic. That's a good word too. This was actually very interesting. Um, I not only learned a lot of new things about Canada that most of us Americans just don't know about. Um, there are actually a couple of comparisons to the U.S. that were really like thought provoking, and I think that's always good. So I enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on these 5 things that Canada does not get enough credit for. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canadian things that I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.